Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into the eerie and tragic tale of Anjette Lyles, a woman whose charm and warmth concealed a deadly secret. In the 1950s, Anjette was a beloved figure in Macon, Georgia, known for her popular restaurant and sunny disposition. But behind her radiant smile, a series of mysterious deaths began to unfold, each more chilling than the last. Was she a victim of tragedy, or was there something far darker at play? In this video, we'll take you through the disturbing story of how Anjette Lyles went from local legend to infamous murderer. Let's get into it. It was a warm summer evening in the 1950s when Anjette Lyles first entered the lives of the people in Macon, Georgia. The sun hung low in the sky, casting golden hues over the town, and the scent of fried bacon drifted from Anjette's restaurant, a small, family-owned place she ran with quiet determination. If you walked through the doors of Anjette's, you were bound to be greeted by a bright smile that could light up any room and a voice rich with southern charm. Anjette's blonde hair shone like sunlight, and she always wrapped her arms around anyone who walked through the door with a friendly, "Hey Betty Ann, gimme some sugar." It wasn't just the food that kept people coming back, it was Anjette herself. "Everybody loves Anjette," they'd say with a smile. She wasn't just the owner of the most popular restaurant in town, she was a local legend, a woman with a magnetic presence that made everyone feel like family. But behind the warmth and charm, a darker story was unfolding, one that would shake the town of Macon to its core. Anjette had worked tirelessly for everything she had. In 1947, she married Benjamin Lyles, the original owner of the restaurant. Though the couple had two daughters, Marcia and Carla, life wasn't easy. Benjamin drank heavily and left much of the work to Anjette and his demanding mother, Julia. But Anjette kept going, raising the girls and managing the restaurant as best as she could. Then, in May 1951, Ben did something strange. He sold the restaurant for a mere $2,500, without telling Anjette or anyone else why. This decision left her reeling, but she didn't give up. By 1955, after years of hard work and determination, Anjette managed to buy the restaurant back for $12,000. She reopened it as Anjette's, and business boomed. What had once been a family legacy was now her success story. In the months following her return to the restaurant, Anjette met Buddy Gabbert, an airline pilot, and the two quickly fell in love. By June of 1956, they married in New Mexico. But just months later, tragedy struck. Buddy fell seriously ill with a rash, followed by swelling in his arms and legs. His condition worsened, and he begged her, "Let me die." Buddy did pass away, and Anjette remained oddly composed, even cold in her response. "Thank God Buddy had him a little bit of insurance money," she said. The townspeople were uneasy. Anjette's lack of visible grief over her husband's death sparked whispers. But Anjette carried on, running her restaurant as usual, greeting everyone with the same southern charm. The next blow came in August of 1957, when Julia, Anjette's mother-in-law, became ill. She was hospitalized with symptoms of poisoning, swelling limbs, purple skin, and fever. Julia passed away shortly after, and once again, Anjette's response left the community unsettled. "Do you know that sweet woman included me in her will?" she remarked with a smile. The whispers grew louder. Was Anjette somehow involved in these untimely deaths? Was her success tied to the misfortune of others? Despite her friendly exterior, something just didn't seem right. But it wasn't until April 1958 that the true horror of Anjette's actions began to surface. Her daughter, Marcia, fell terribly ill with a high fever. Strangely, Anjette was overheard saying, "She'll soon be going home to her father and her grandmother." And indeed, Marcia died shortly after. Anjette's cold remark to a nurse, "I'm just glad my little girl was insured," sent shockwaves through those who knew her. The community was now on edge. Something was very wrong, and people began to suspect that Anjette might be behind the deaths of her husband, mother-in-law, and daughter. An anonymous letter was sent to the coroner, urging him to investigate Anjette's home for arsenic, the common thread in all the suspicious deaths. The letter suggested that Anjette might be poisoning her loved ones. The coroner acted quickly, and when Marcia's body was tested, it was revealed that she had massive amounts of arsenic in her system. This was the break they needed. In October 1958, Anjette was arrested and charged with the murder of her daughter. The news spread like wildfire through Macon. How could the woman they had once adored, the woman who served them bacon balls with a smile, be capable of such cold-blooded murder? The trial was a spectacle. The courtroom was packed with spectators, many holding signs that read, "Burn the witch." Employees from Anjette's restaurant testified about her chilling words to Marcia, "I'll kill you one day, Marcia." Others recalled how Anjette would bring food to her victims in the hospital but would always disappear into the bathroom with her purse before handing it over. Doctors testified that when they told Anjette her daughter might recover, Anjette had laughed out loud and ordered a tiny coffin for Marcia. The evidence against Anjette mounted quickly. The most shocking revelation came when it was discovered that Julia's will had been forged, right around the time of her death. And then there were the eerie details surrounding Marcia's death. Anjette had coldly dismissed any hope for her recovery, and witnesses recalled her lack of emotion as her daughter passed. The jury deliberated for less than an hour before finding Anjette guilty of murder. The judge sentenced Anjette to death by electric chair. However, a twist emerged: Macon would not be the first town to execute a white woman in the United States. Instead, Anjette was declared criminally insane and sent to the state mental hospital in Milledgeville, Georgia. Anjette spent the next 20 years in Milledgeville, where she became known for discussing witchcraft and telling fortunes to her fellow patients. "They think I'm crazy as hell," she would say, "and I'm gonna let them keep thinking it. Because if they don't, they're gonna fry my ass." And so, Anjette lived out her days in the mental hospital, a woman both loved and feared. She died there on December 4, 1977, leaving behind a dark legacy tied to the poison that had claimed the lives of those closest to her. The people of Macon never forgot Anjette, the woman who had welcomed them into her restaurant, fed them, hugged them, and ultimately betrayed them. Her story became a dark legend, a chilling reminder that sometimes, the most charming faces can hide the darkest secrets.